Welcome back. Our next guest is stepping into the political arena with a clear mission to represent New York Congressional District 15 with integrity and dedication. With a deep understanding of the community's needs and a history of proven leadership, he is poised to tackle pressing issues head on. Joining us now is the Vice Chairman of the Bronx County Conservative Party and District Leader for the 79th Assembly District, Gonzalo Duran. Gonzalo, thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm honored because today, in this episode right here, is my first time being on televised television as a politician. So thank you.
That's so amazing, and I'm glad that we could share that with you. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about your background and what inspired you to run for Congress in New York's 15th district?
Well, I'm a former United States Marine Sergeant. Came back home. I started a veteran nonprofit called Devil Dog USA Incorporated. The last almost 11 years now, we've integrated into the community, helping out in almost every aspect you can think about, from civic engagement to homelessness, employment, etc. I've always been in the political scene for the last about 8 years, but as you stated earlier, now I'm in the arena. Last year, I officially made the ballot for City Council, and this year I'm in the congressional race for District 15.
Now, how do you plan to address the pressing issue of safety in the Bronx, particularly regarding increasing crime rates and community police relations?
Well, I've been working with the police department for many years, trying to build relationships with the community, because that's one thing that I believe needs to be addressed and increased a lot. When it comes to safety, I'm an honorary member with the Guardian Angels, with the Bronx chapter, so I've been patrolling here and there throughout the year with them and providing them resources that they need. Recently, we started a program with Master T.J. Rivera and the Bronx Veteran Chamber of Commerce to have a women's safe defense course that we've been already had 4 classes, and we have maybe 6 more done. One of the biggest things that we're looking for right now is places to host us and more funding for the rest of the year.
That's amazing. Now, could you expand on your support for term limits if elected?
Yes, I do believe in term limits. For Congress, it's a little hard because normally it's only 2 years, and normally the first year you're doing all the work, and the second year you're trying to get funds again. That's where personally I think Congress should be increased at least maybe 1 or 2 years. I'm not 100% there, but also I don't believe in career politicians. That's where they get a little too bit relaxed, too much power in their hands. What the exact numbers should be, I don't have, but I think if the president can only serve 8 years, I think somewhere in around that ballpark should be as well for other elected officials.
Now, what advantages do you believe term limits would bring, and how might they positively impact the constituents of New York's 15th congressional district?
Well, as I stated earlier, career politicians, once they get too much power and are in place and comfortable, you can see the dramatic change in their work. Also, let's say somebody like Richie Torres, the incumbent for the 15th congressional district. This year he's running with an $8 million, I believe $6 to $8 million campaign budget right now, and all of it is coming from one specific organization, the IPAC. So right there, you shows the dynamics of maybe a little bit obscure on where his allegiance, instead of maybe just the community, it may be just to one specific sector. So.
Now, I'm curious to know, what specific measures do you propose to tackle unemployment and create more opportunities for career growth in the Bronx?
So one, we have to keep an eye on the big businesses that are taking advantage of the Bronx. Let's say Uber, Amazon, these are, and some organizations like FedEx, they have this program where they hire employees either at half pay or some half part-time, or they give them positions where they have to compete with each other for jobs, or their tax breaks are too big for the economy to grow. And then the wages aren't being subsidized as much as you would think. There's a lot of individuals that are working 2 jobs while working these programs where these big businesses are making billions of dollars, yet the paychecks have a lot of people on public assistance. Working with, in my advocacy work, working with the Bronx Veteran Chamber of Commerce and other organizations, we've dealt with trying to get people situated for these bigger opportunity and jobs. I was in a meeting with the mayor a couple weeks ago, and one of the things that they brought up was they have about 14,000 jobs that are opportunity just in the city hall alone, and plus thousands of hundreds of thousands of jobs open for their availability. But are people qualified for those jobs, and are they getting it to the people? So I've been using also journalism and media to try to bring those attention to the people, let's say in the Bronx. One of the articles that I did for City Hall was the job opportunities. I can't remember the title of it right now, but it's being waved into underburdened community that have high unemployment rates like Harlem, the South Bronx, and other places around the city.
Now, I'm curious to know, how do you plan to support local businesses and address the decline of neighborhood establishments in the face of big corporations?
Yes, so once again, in City Hall, I was in another meeting where the the Just Yes initiatives that have been going on. For the second phase, that was more for businesses right there. Trying to promote the tax codes that were in place that were holding a lot of businesses at bay. For example, there was a code that if a business closed down and after 2 years nobody didn't reopen up, then that would be stuck in foreclosure for a while. That was a ridiculous code that should have been eliminated a long time ago. That's one. I work with different organizations and businesses right now in my advocacy work to bring these programs. Let's say the self-defense program. I wrote a grant through the Bronx Veteran Chamber of Commerce and Devil Dog USA for this individual who wants to build, let's say, a martial arts class for the community. Well, he has a program, he has a need, but he doesn't have the resources to get it out. And that's where I came in and helped him out. Now he just got featured in the Bronx Times. Hopefully News 12 will pick up next. And those are examples of just one of how to get businesses and using the resources and the programs that, let's say, an elected official should be doing to help out businesses.
Now, I want to talk about civic engagement. Can you just outline your strategies for improving communication between elected officials and constituents?
Well, one of the things is, for me, I think there's a really big lack of elected officials only being out in the community. You see them during election time, but it's really hard to see them during the other time periods. And that's where I would be different. If I was elected, one of my big positions is to have a dedicated time myself for the community. I will, because that's the way I believe it should be. Getting more vocal. There's accountability on both parts. There's accountability on the elected officials, and there's accountability on the individuals. There are a lot of resources and programs out there, but if the people aren't going to speak and reach out, then there's not a lot of hope there as well.
Now, education reform is a significant part of your agenda. What steps do you believe are necessary to improve the education system in the Bronx and ensure better preparation for students?
Yes, so this is one of the questions I asked directly to the mayor 2 weeks ago, face-to-face, one-on-one. For me, it's not throwing money at everything. I believe transparency on where the money is going is more important than anything. Focusing on the criteria such as reading, writing, et cetera, are key fundamental things that I believe that the school systems are leaning away towards, but we need to go back and focus on those. This year, the city didn't raise taxes. What they did was they moved money around to look at where it could fit in different places. I will commend the mayor for what he did this year in the Board of Education. We're closing a lot of the contracts for the labor unions, increasing the pay for the teachers, et cetera, stuff like that. But where we're lacking on is focusing on the core values of the educational system.
Now, how do you plan to balance national interests with addressing the unique challenges and needs of the Bronx in Congress?
So one of the things when we look at a district, let's say the 15th Congressional District is a large district, goes from Riverdale down to Fordham Plaza, down all the way to almost the Hunts Points area. Right there, those are different demographics that we hit, different economical structures that we also hit, businesses, individuals, homeowners, et cetera. We have to look at the whole aspect of the individuals that live there and not specific sectors. The incumbent, my opponent right now, I'm not trying to be negative, but if you look at his current trend, he's moved away from the Hispanic, African, even the LGBT community for the most part, focusing on one specific group, let's say in the Riverdale section with the Jewish community. You can see that in his post on his forefront with the Israel, which I have nothing opposing with them, but there's a whole other sector. I've been one of the most prominent people in the 15th Congressional District, and I haven't seen him at all since he taken into Congress. And before that, when he was in City Council, I think I only met him maybe once or twice. For somebody who's so active like me, not to be have to have face to face with the guy, that's that clearly examples of not being for the people and also bypassing a lot of the community members.
Well, Gonzalo, I want to thank you so much for joining us and sharing a little bit about your plans and the things that you want to do to improve the Bronx. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
For more information, you can visit their website at gonzaloduran.nyc. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open right after this.